Hello, everyone. Welcome back, all of you, to an exciting episode of Passion Podcast 2.0. This is episode number 11, and I hope that everybody is doing absolutely fine. Today, we have a special guest joining us from Abu Dhabi. Her name is Neha Arora. Neha is a mindset coach and a therapist. She's also the founder of the Mind Rewired and helps her client to live an uncompromised life with her organization. She has been a trainer more than 10 years and has helped and trained many people from several nationalities across the globe on French and on English, specifically IELTS. So let's welcome Neha Arora. Hello, Neha. How are you doing?
I'm good, Sandeep. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fine. I was just giving your introduction to my audience. And I would like to ask you that how is everything back there in your country? Although you are from India, but you're living in Abu Dhabi right now.
Right. Yeah, so things are fine. It's just too hot. Summer's here, so
Mm,
that's about it. And we are blessed to have air conditions inside, so going
mm.
well. Thank you.
All right. So, welcome to Passion Podcast 2.0. This is episode number 11. And
Thank
I
you.
would like to thank you once again, Neha, for accepting the invitation. And you are really such a sport. You said immediately yes, and then you're very much interested also in doing this, making things happen very quickly. So I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I know that you are very busy also, but you are given the time on a weekday. So I'm really glad that you're here today.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so happy and excited to be here.
Okay. So, Neha, as you know, this is a passion podcast where people come, they share their passion, they share their knowledge, experience, their life journey. So, you are working as a mindset coach, and also you are the founder of the Mind Rewired, which is your company. So,
Right.
before we go into this, I would like to know more about your upbringing and your childhood. How the things when you're growing up back in India, and did you ever thought growing up that you will ended up being a trainer or a mindset coach?
Well, that's an interesting question because I had not really thought that I would end up becoming a mindset coach or a therapist. But I was always
Hmm.
intrigued with psychology and how human behavior, why we do that things we do. And I always wanted to study psychology. It didn't happen while I was in my grade 12th, but I am happy that I ended up finding my passion at
Mm,
whatever stage in my life. And I'm glad that I'm here
mm.
at this point in time.
Right. So, can you talk more about your childhood memories, any upbringing, any special memories which you'd like to share with the audience?
Uh, no, as such, I okay. So as I was born in Kanpur, that's a small state in Uttar Pradesh,
Mm,
but I
mm,
moved to Delhi while I was in school. So there was a lot of shift that happened from coming from a small city to a bigger town. The
mm,
adjustments that I had to make to fit in, it wasn't easy, I would say, but I'd say that it has taught me a lot. I've got a lot of life lessons coming from a small town to a big city, a metropolitan, and living my life there. So that has been a great learning experience for me, all in all.
right. Uh, so, Neha, you are the founder of this company, which is known as the Mind Rewired.
Right.
Can you tell our viewers more about this company and how did you think about forming this company?
So it all happened during COVID.
Mhm,
COVID was one of the toughest times for everybody across the globe, and I was no different. I was working as a trainer here in Abu Dhabi, and I
mm.
lost my job.
Okay.
I was all by myself. My husband was going to
Mm,
work, and I had been working since the age of 18. So I did
mm,
not like sitting at home was not something that was familiar to me. I didn't know what to do with my
mm,
time.
mhm,
I felt really lonely. I felt very upset and sad,
mm, mhm,
and things were not going the right way. My health was deteriorating, and all
mm,
of us. including myself, we were all confined to our homes. So
mm,
I was not meeting anybody. I was just all by
mm,
myself, and I was emotionally triggered and frustrated to a great extent.
mm, mm,
And one day I decided that things can't progress in this way for a very long time. Hence, I decided to use this time that I had on hand to invest in myself, and I joined Mind Valley. I became a Mind Valley member, that is a platform for self growth and transformation. And for the first time in my life, I had this opportunity to reflect on my habits, my behaviors, my emotional triggers. I got to know myself better than I had,
okay.
because never before I had this opportunity to look inside. I was busy working, I was busy, doing things. But
Mm,
for the first time during COVID, because I had a lot of time at hand, I had this opportunity to look
mm,
inside, see why I'm behaving in a certain way, change my limiting belief patterns. And
mm.
that is also when I came across Marisa Peer, and I became a therapist, and I founded the Mind Rewired as a result.
Right. Right, right, absolutely. Also, Neha, while researching through your profile, I saw that you
Hmm.
have completed your degree on French literature as well,
Mhm.
and you are
Yeah.
a French teacher as well, and you have traveled to different countries, specifically France. So, can you
Hmm.
share that experience with our viewers?
Yes, absolutely, Sandeep. So I would say
Mm,
French happened to me. Uh, I in school in my grade 11th, I was a science student, so I was studying physics, chemistry, maths, and biology because I wanted to become a doctor, and I wanted to study psychology. And I remember towards the end of grade 12th, when you have to sit for entrances and choose what stream you're going to take, I was having this conversation with my teacher, where
mm, mm,
with my chemistry teacher, and she said, Neha, if you want to become a doctor, it's going to take 8 years of hard work and
mm,
continuous struggle. I knew I was not ready. I knew that
mm,
I was not ready for this, and I'm not going to continue with sciences. So I decided to drop and not continue with sciences. And once I finished school, one of our
mm.
neighbors, in fact, was a French trainer. So he suggested
Okay,
that you could learn a foreign language, because back then job opportunities for language trainers were more. The jobs were highly paid, better paid than a non-foreign language speaker. So
right.
I thought, okay. And then I ended up enrolling myself at Alliance Française. That's an institute that teaches French.
Okay,
So I enrolled myself there.
it's in Delhi.
It's in Delhi, but they have different,
Mm,
like there are different alliances across India. So you have one in
mm,
Chandigarh, you have one in Bangalore, in Mumbai. So there are several.
right.
I think there's one in Calcutta also. I'm not very sure, but I
Yes,
think there
yes,
is one
you're
in
right.
Calcutta.
You're right. Yeah.
Yes. So, so I enrolled myself at Alliance in Delhi, and I started learning
Mm,
French. And thanks to my teacher, I developed this interest towards the language. And after 1 year, I finally moved to my graduation in French from Delhi University, and
mm,
I'm so glad that I did it. I'm glad that I pursued 3 years of French, and I was able to
mm.
finish my studies in French.
So, how did you landed up in France? In what circumstances?
Okay, so while I was studying French,
Mm,
there's this program called Assistana, where
mm.
different people from India are invited to France to teach in a school there, and it's a
Okay,
7 month program. So it is organized by the government of France. Uh,
okay.
I would say, very fortunate and lucky to be selected, and
Hmm.
I happened to go to France at the age of 22 and work in a high school. And I was there for 7 months working with students from grade 9, let's say,
Mm,
from the Indian curriculum, equivalent to the Indian curriculum, from grade 9
mm, mm.
to students of first year college.
Okay.
Yes, and that is how I landed up in France right after finishing my graduation.
How's your experience of teaching French? How's your experience of interacting with different people from a different country?
So while I was in France, I was teaching English to French students. So the requirement for me to get there was to have to know English as well as to know French, because I would be
Mm,
working with French students. But I was teaching
mm,
English to French students, and my experience talking about that, I'd say I had my good days and bad days, all in all. It was for the first time that I had left my country and gone to a faraway land. I had
Mm,
never stayed alone before that, all by myself.
mm,
Working there was different, but I remember it so happened 1 month after that I landed there, I felt terribly sick.
mm,
And it was a Saturday.
mm,
I was in a very bad state. I was like not able to move, forget about walking. I tried
mhm.
calling several colleagues of mine, and the phone went on voicemail. And that was another cultural thing because in India there's no voicemail. You either people answer or they don't answer, and it went on voicemail, so nobody answered my call. And that
Okay.
is when I realized that this is a cultural difference. People don't answer work calls on a weekend there, and that was very different
Mm,
from what I had experienced in India.
mm.
And with the little strength that I had, I walked up. I was staying in the school accommodation, so
Right.
I gathered the little strength that I had, and I walked up to the
So you
education.
were when you are teaching this to the French students, so
Hmm.
you were living alone, all alone in France, right?
Yeah, I was living on the school campus, but all by myself. So there were other teachers and other colleagues that were living there, but
Mm.
I was staying in the school campus,
So you used to make your own food, used to clean your clothes, everything by yourself.
all by myself. Yes.
Mm.
And
Okay.
food is another conversation
Mm.
because yeah, I will come to that right in a moment.
Mm.
So talking about this experience while I was very sick,
Mm.
so I went to this person who helped me. She was the education counselor of my school. I just met her
Mhm.
once, and
Mm.
she drove me to the hospital throughout the day. It was dark, it was raining, and it was very
Mm.
cold. October, month of
Mm.
October, very
Mm.
cold, and I was terribly in pain.
Mm.
And about 6 to 7 hours we were there. She came, she took me back, and then made me dinner. And it was then, Sandeep, that I realized it was her birthday.
Oh, okay.
And she'd spent the whole day with me, taking me from one
Mm.
hospital to another, doing the labs, buying me the groceries. And this kind of immensely touched me because I don't know, had it not been for her, I had no idea how and if I would have survived that day because I was in a very
Right.
bad state. And this moved me uh, very much.
Right. Okay. Uh, so you now majorly you are working as a therapist and a
Mm-hmm.
mindset coach.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a reference point or a you know breaking point of your life where you figure out that why you need to do this or what made you do this or come to this conclusion that you will become a mindset coach and a therapist? What was the circumstances?
So, uh, well, I had two major reasons to be at a place where I am right now.
Hmm.
Uh, the first one, as I mentioned, I was always intrigued by human behavior and psychology since my teenagers, and I wanted to study psychology in school.
Okay.
Uh, I was a science student. As I mentioned, I had PCMB, but I
Right.
wanted to take psychology instead of maths.
Hmm.
And with the little guidance that I had back then, I was told that I should take maths because if I don't take maths, I would not understand physics. And I did not enjoy any of those subjects. So psychology was my area of interest, and as a teenager, I kept reading self-help books. So
Right.
that's one thing. And secondly, while I was growing up, there were major financial crises that my family was going through.
Mm.
So I grew up in a setup where there were a lot of fights around money at
Mm.
home. My parents were working long hours to send
Mm.
us to
Mm.
school or give us the best education that they could, and even take care of the basics to say.
Mm.
And there was a lot of fights, deaths, financial crisis, and I was growing up in all those circumstances. And
Mm. Mm.
because my parents were working hard, which I didn't understand back then because I was just a child, uh, I always felt that I missed on their time and their presence in my life because they were
Mm.
not available. They were busy working.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of had a major impact on my life, because as a child I felt very unlovable, unworthy.
Mm-hmm.
I felt very helpless because I couldn't do anything to change the situation that we were all in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have people to talk to. I didn't have people to share how I was feeling, what I was going through. It was a very
Mm-hmm.
tough phase.
You are a single child or you have siblings?
I have a younger brother who's 6 years
Mm.
younger to me.
Okay.
So at most of the time, I was also taking care of him. Uh,
Mm.
and it was a very tough phase. And I didn't have the help that I could have used at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is one more reason I wanted to be that help to people that I never had for myself.
Okay. So, so I spoke to you regarding this before as well. So, how's
Mhm.
your lockdown journey? And you mentioned that you have lost 10 kgs of weight by doing
Yeah.
this therapy on yourself as well. But how was that 2 years for you in the when you lost that job?
Hmm.
Uh, how life was back then, and how did you think that you'll start something like the Mind Rewired?
So, beginning 2020, yes, beginning
Mm-hmm.
2020, on the onset of COVID, March, I lost my job. I had
Mm.
no idea about the Mind Rewired, was not in the picture so far. I had no clue what I would be doing. And
Yeah.
in usual circumstances, when you don't have a job, what you do is you look for another job. Uh,
Yeah.
but with COVID, that wasn't a possibility. Things were shut, everything was closed. So we knew that you're not going to find another job, and there was not even looking for another job
Mm.
uh, that time. And as I mentioned, I was very upset. I didn't know what to do with my time. I was all by myself because here in Abu Dhabi, I stay with my husband, and he used to go to work, but
Mm.
I was alone. uh,
Mm.
and that is not something that was very familiar to me.
Not.
I'd always
Yeah.
been working, going out, meeting people, and
Mm.
now I was here confined in a space where I couldn't go out, not go for exercise, not go out to meet
Mm.
people, and
Mm.
that was taking a toll on me. But
Mm-hmm.
one day I realized, because Mind Valley, I had always been, as I said, reading self-help books and working on myself.
Yeah.
So I'd been watching master classes from Mind Valley, and then those was free master classes. But then, because I had this time at my hand, and I thought I would invest this time
Mm.
to for my personal growth and get out of how I've been feeling. I had severe health issues since my early 20s, backache, sciatica, cervical, you name it, and I had it.
Okay.
So, and it was only getting worse during this, for the first few months in COVID. And when I took up these courses, it gave me time to work on myself, to reflect on myself. And I was also introduced to Marisa Peer and this therapy called RTT that
Mm.
changed my life drastically. I would say, physically, yes, I definitely lost 10 kgs of weight, but for me, COVID was a journey of transformation and self growth, and I came out of it as a different person.
Yeah. So you just mentioned about the Mind Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell our viewers what exactly Mind Valley is and how does it function?
So Mind Valley is an online self-growth learning platform. They have
Mm.
various programs that they call as Quest.
Mm.
You become a member, and then you have a quest to take. So, for example, there are quests that are taking care of your mind, body, soul, physical exercise, networking. So it has a huge range of things that you could learn. It's not just
Mm.
about mental health or physical health. There is a lot more to that. And when you take up
Okay.
a quest, you go through that program. Most of them are like 21 to 30 days programs.
Mm.
You
Mm.
could do it at your own pace, very, very short lessons so that you can fit it easily in your schedule.
Okay. Self-paced. Okay.
Yeah, it's a self-paced program. So you have the
Mm.
lessons, you do it every day.
Mm.
But one of the best features I think I like about the Mind Valley is the community, is the sense of community, because you connect with so many like-minded people. You are
Yeah.
doing something and the other person is doing something and the same thing, and then you have accountability. So someday,
Mm.
if you're not able to do the quest, there's somebody who pushes you to do it. So there's a lot of
Mm.
accountability that comes in place. Plus, like-mindedness kind of helps you bond with each other, and I think that is one of the
Mm.
best parts of this Mind Valley community.
Right, interesting. And you mentioned about Marisa Peer. So,
Right.
can you talk more about her and importance of Marisa Peer in your life?
Well, she is my mentor. I trained to be a therapist under Marisa Peer, so definitely she is one person who inspires me, and
Mm.
the fact that I'm practicing RTT is because of her. There were
Hmm.
two quests on Mind Valley by Marisa Peer. I did one of them, and doing
Mm.
that quest is how I lost 10 kgs. That was before I
Mm.
got into therapy. Uh,
Mm.
and she has been a therapist for about 30 plus years. She founded RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy, and
Okay,
now she has a school in UK. And then I got trained under her as an RTT therapist.
right. Yeah, so while giving you introduction, I mentioned you are an RTT practitioner, but for many people, it's a jargon, right? So for
Right.
them, would you like to make it simplified? What is RTT and how does it work, and what are the key components of RTT?
Okay, so well, rapid RTT stands for Rapid Transformational Therapy,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
to make it simpler for the audience to understand, the listeners, I would say every now and then, Sandeep, we update our phones, mobile phones, and technological devices. So today
Hmm.
we are using iPhones and Samsungs, but 15 years ago we were using Blackberries and Nokias, most of us,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And but now it's iPhones and Samsungs, and we're using those
Hmm.
because it's making our life easy in a certain way. It's
Hmm.
helping us achieve things, do things in a more efficient way, and the the opportunities it brings to us are just limitless. With what you can do with an iPhone is just, or a Samsung, or the
Hmm.
technology that we have today is just limitless.
Hmm.
However, when we talk about, so we are updating this technology every now and then
Hmm.
to have an extraordinary life. But when we talk about ourselves, most of us are operating from mental programs that were installed in us while we were a
Hmm.
child, early childhood. And we are still operating with those mental programs. And when I say mental programs, these are belief systems.
Right.
And we are operating those with those mental programs, and that is kind of keeping us limited. It's making our life not easy and not effortless. It's keeping us limited in the sense that we are not able to achieve things that we want to, because there are belief patterns that are holding us from doing certain things in life.
Right.
So at the Mind Rewired, using rapid transformational therapy, what I do is I upgrade those beliefs, I upgrade those mental programs. So
Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
just work as a therapist, but I have three roles at the Mind Rewired. So one is
Okay.
of a detective, okay? So the first thing that I do is to find out those beliefs that are limiting a person or my client in living a
Hmm.
life that they really want. So I become a
Okay.
detective, I put on a detective hat to find those beliefs. And
Okay.
then is the dentist role to, per se, because I extract those beliefs that are not helping my client.
Hmm.
And then I become a coder to install or code the new belief systems that are going to transform their lives so that they could
Hmm.
have an extraordinary and an uncompromised life.
Right. Amazing. I have a picture with me right now, which I'd like to show my audience.
Okay.
This picture is about, I think you have done a workshop
uh-huh.
where there was some activity. So I'll just like to show this picture to my audience. Let me share my screen. Okay. Yeah.
Sandeep, I saw a few messages that people are not able to connect.
Okay. Okay. I'll just check once the link, but
Please.
can you see the pictures on the screen here?
Yeah, I can see the picture. Yes, I can see the picture.
So can you tell more about this? What exactly this is and what they are doing?
Yeah, so this is while I was doing a group rapid transformational therapy session, and this is part of how I get my clients into hypnosis because rapid transformational therapy is done under hypnosis, which is a
Hmm.
very relaxed state. So
Right.
this picture
Yeah.
is
So
from
I just, yeah. Please tell me.
yeah. So this picture is from that session where I was doing rapid transformational therapy, and
Right.
part of it is part of the process of how you get into hypnosis.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So Neha, I have just made that post public. I don't know. I
Okay.
made it public earlier as well, but I don't know how it became, private. But now it is public. Please ask them. They can watch it now.
Okay, because I just realized that I have a lot of messages. People were trying and they were
Hmm.
not able to join.
Yeah, they will able to watch it now. Just ask them to refresh it once. Yeah. So just
I,
like this, yeah, sure.
yes.
So just like this activity that we saw
Mm-hmm.
on the screen, can we do
Mm-hmm.
something like this now in order to understand this therapy and this process, how it works, if you are okay with it?
Uh, I would propose an activity for everybody though, but not
Hmm.
exactly something like that.
Okay.
Talking about mind and rapid transformational therapy. So, Sandeep, one of
Hmm.
the rules of the mind is that uh, it doesn't care what you tell it is true or false,
Hmm.
healthy or unhealthy, good or bad. It just
Okay.
takes it in.
Right.
Okay, so I will repeat this because it's very
Hmm.
important. When you understand how your mind works, you can make it work in
Hmm.
your favor. So
Hmm.
your mind doesn't understand what you say is right or wrong,
Hmm.
true or false, healthy or unhealthy. It just lets it in.
Okay.
And I want the viewers and everybody to experience it for themselves.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so if people are able to watch this, I don't know if they can still watch this if the link is accessible.
Yeah. This link is accessible. They are watching already. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So, and if you are in a space where you could close your eyes, so
Okay.
please
Should
close
I
your eyes.
close my eyes as well?
Yeah, you can try this absolutely, Sandeep,
You are
but
not
please
going to do
don't.
any hypnotherapy, right?
No, no hypnotherapy, absolutely
Okay.
no hypnotherapy here.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So, but I want you to do that only if you're in a safe space. So, people, if you're driving, please don't do this. Don't close your eyes if you're
Hmm.
driving.
Okay.
For audience who are at home and listening to it in a safe space, I would want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Let's do that now.
Okay.
And I would want you to imagine that you're walking to the refrigerator of your home
Okay.
and you open the door, and from that
Yeah.
refrigerator you are picking up from a basket full of fruits a lemon that is bright and shiny.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to pick up this lemon
Okay.
and then take a knife, cut this lemon into half,
Okay.
breathe that breathe in that wonderful lemony smell,
Mm-hmm.
inhale that citric aroma, and I want
Right.
you to splash that lemon until the lemon drops come onto the surface.
Okay.
And I want you to see those lemon drops coming on the surface of that lemon. And I want you now to open your mouth and I want you to shove that half a lemon in your mouth. Bite onto that lemon, chew the flesh of that lemon, swirl the lemon juice in your mouth, eat that lemon, and all the juice from the lemon is in your mouth right now. And as you begin to eat that lemon, you will find that your taste buds are swelling. And you can feel that sorry, lemony taste in your mouth.
Yes.
And your mind is acting to a thought. So here is a thought: I'm eating a lemon, and you're thinking a thought, and your mind is making it real. So take another moment, bite into that lemon, chew it, suck it, and now just open your eyes.
Yeah.
And I want you to notice how quickly we pumped out saliva.
Yes, it is. It has.
Yes? And
Amazing.
and and that's the power of your own thought. So people ask, was there a lemon? Well, the answer is yes or no. No, because the lemon was not actually there, but it was there in your
Hmm.
imagination. It was there in the thought, and the mind made it real.
Yeah.
So going back to what I said, your mind doesn't care what you're telling it is right or wrong, true or false,
Hmm.
healthy or
Hmm.
unhealthy. It will just take it in, and that is the power of your own thought.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it something to do with hypnosis as well? Like similar type of things?
Uh, Sandeep, sorry, I'm still getting messages that it is not, people are not being able to access this. I don't
Please
know why.
ask them to refresh because now I can see many people can watch it.
Okay.
So there
So,
maybe they are not refreshing it. They are clicking on the same link.
okay.
So they need to refresh it because
But
it's
it's the
now
same link,
public.
right? It's the same link, right?
It's the same link. Same
Okay.
link.
Okay.
Uh, I think your contacts also people are liking it, like Naimi Shavarma and Nixon, Matthew, Sajan. They are from your contacts, so they are
Uh,
reacting to the post. So that means others also can watch it.
I think so, yes. Okay. I've asked them to refresh the page.
Yeah,
Yes, sorry,
sure.
Sandeep, you were saying something.
Also, if you want, I can send you the link on the WhatsApp
No,
now.
that's okay. Maybe I've asked them to refresh it so that people
Yeah, I
can
have
join.
sent you a new link. I have sent you a new link of Facebook, direct Facebook link.
Okay.
Maybe this, if you can share once with them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you
Yeah.
were
So
asking something. Go ahead.
yeah, I was just telling that this activity, what you did, it's amazing. And see, they can see they are also commenting
Okay.
on
Yes,
the
now I can.
post as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, if anyone has any questions for
mhm.
Neha, you can ask on the comments. Neha will try to answer them uh, very shortly. And we we are also almost we are at the end of the podcast, but there are a few more questions, Neha, I would like to ask you before you leave this
Yes,
podcast.
please.
Okay. So, Neha, you mentioned that this therapy, RTD therapy, which you do, it actually helps your clients to have a uncompromised life. So,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell what are the benefits of this therapy? What you have seen from your clients or the feedback that you have got from them? I
So,
myself checked few of the case studies on your website, and it was amazing. But for the viewers, we'd like to share what are the feedbacks, not feedbacks, but what are the changes they have seen after they have done this therapy.
I've worked with clients for different issues, from depression to anxiety to self
Hmm.
confidence, uh,
Hmm.
smoking, anger management, money blocks. So I've worked with a wide variety of issues, and the scope of
Hmm.
practice of RTT is huge.
Hmm. Hmm.
Transformation that they experience is incredible because I had clients who used to get angry several times a day, and right after one session the anger episode stopped, or
Hmm.
they used to smoke and they quit smoking right after one session. As the name suggests, it's a rapid transformational therapy, and so are the
Hmm.
results. So unlike any other form of therapy, you don't see me several days or several weeks. It's just that 1 to 3 sessions help you get out of the problem that you're trying to fix. But the
Right.
transformation and the results that I've found from my clients, what I've heard from them, seeing them, and in fact myself, because I have experienced this myself, it's just incredible. It's just phenomenal.
Hmm. Right. Uh, would you like to talk about the mental health also? Because I believe that it is something close to your heart. You mentioned that you are taking. interest in psychology. So would like to talk about this.
Yes, absolutely, Sandeep. That this is a subject very close to my heart, mental health, and I think we today are more stressed than ever we have been,
Mm,
and especially with the COVID landscape, the levels of stress and anxiety tremendously increased because people were facing a lot, and that
mm,
is why mental health becomes even more important at this stage.
mm,
What a lot of us do not understand is that mental health is directly related to emotional, physical health, uh, because it's the mind that controls the body. So it's not just mental
absolutely.
health and physical health. There is this mind body connection that we often forget, and we just
Mm.
work on one aspect of it, but we forget the mental health. And I think it's very important to take care of our mental health.
So I feel that the brain is the most powerful tool in this world, human brain. And if you don't take care of your brain, then your brain will not take care of your physical aspect as well. So there are many books written, like The Power of Subconscious Mind,
Mm-hmm.
and there are many other books which are written about this power, you amazing
Mm-hmm.
power that you have. Just like we did an activity where
Right,
we have used this example, right?
right.
So, would you like to talk more about the power of the subconscious mind and how we can develop this power with some
Uh,
practices?
Yeah, that's a very great question, Sandeep. Thank you for asking this. I would start with like talking about the power. The mind is incredible. We have seen it for ourselves just a few minutes ago.
Yes,
And you are a communications trainer, right, Sandeep?
right.
Yeah. So when we talk about communication, for example, when the first thing that comes to our mind is the language skills or how we are talking to somebody, if what we are
Mm-hmm.
saying is it being understood in the right way by our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And today there are several courses that are in place to improve communication skills. But
Yeah.
today I would want to shed some light on communication in a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
uh, so most of our time, the person that we spend the most of our time talking to is ourselves. And my questions to the audience and the listeners and to you, everybody, is how are you communicating with yourself?
Right.
What are you saying to yourself? What is your self talk?
Mm-hmm.
Because most often we would say things like, oh, I have a terrible memory. I never get things right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm such an idiot. Or I always make a mess of things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our self talk most of
Right.
the time. But
Right.
I have a question for all of you in that case that
People make you feel like that sometimes, isn't it? People or
people.
circumstances. Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. So there might be people in your life who would make you feel like that, but one of the rules of the mind is also that the most important words that you hear are the words that you say to yourself.
Right.
And most of our mental chatter, that 24/7 chatter that we are having, this conversation, the communication that we are having with ourselves, is negative.
Mm-hmm.
It's not empowering, it's not helpful, it's negative because most of the time we try to diminish ourselves, criticize ourselves. But
Mm-hmm.
and that is why
Yeah.
I have a question. If you had a friend, Sandeep, who would come to you and who was sharing a mistake that they did, what
Mm.
would you say? What would you say to a friend who came to you saying, Sandeep, I made this mistake or such and such thing went wrong? What would you say?
I'll tell that if once a mistake committed, that it cannot be undone, right? So
Yeah.
just try to forget about it and take the lesson from it and move on,
Yeah.
and
So
don't
you
repeat
said
the same mistake again.
absolutely. So you would say absolutely things like exactly what you said, that it's okay. We all make
Mm.
mistakes, don't worry.
We're
Move on.
human beings, so we
Yes.
make mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah. We are human beings. We are meant to make
Mm.
mistakes. So,
Yeah.
and that is how you talk to your friend. But when
Absolutely.
it comes to talking to yourself, we never do
Hmm.
that. We will use harsh critical words and say, "Oh,
Mm.
how stupid of me! How could I do that? Why couldn't I remember
Mm.
this? I should have got
Mm.
this right." because
Yeah.
we've been conditioned in a fashion that, we've been conditioned in a fashion where we have been told since our childhood, be
Hmm.
kind, right? Be kind is a lesson that we learned very early in childhood. So you be kind to your family members, you be kind to your relatives, you be kind to
Hmm.
strangers, neighbors,
Hmm.
everybody.
Hmm. Hmm.
But we've not been
Not
taught.
kind to us. Hmm.
Absolutely, we've not been taught how
Hmm.
to be kind to ourselves.
Hmm.
And being kind to ourselves starts with changing how you talk to yourself. You can become
Hmm.
your own best friend and not use those harsh critical words,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
our brain is like a supercomputer, Sandeep,
Yeah.
and our self talk is a program that it will run.
Hmm.
So when you say I have a terrible memory, there is absolutely no way that you could remember things, because that's not the program that it is running. The program that it is running is I can't remember anything. So
Yes.
changing the self talk is something that is very important for mental health. And I think it begins with, first of all, becoming aware of the kind of words that you're using, because most of the times you're using words like, oh my, this traffic is killing me, my work is a disaster, oh, my boss is one kind of a person, this is hell, this is a nightmare. This is what we use.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the mind is taking all of it in, and you see that impact in your life. So changing self-talk is one thing that is very important, and I think that we should start by becoming more aware of the kinds of words that we are using and
Hmm. Yeah.
flipping
Yeah.
it to a positive thing.
Right. Rightly said. Neha, you are doing an amazing work, and I believe that many women look up to you as their role model, and many students as well. So, what message you would like to give to many women, many young girls or teenagers, not only girls, even boys as well, how they should groom themselves, how they develop their communication, and how important is to have a sense of passion in order to make an impact in their life, and how they should take care of their mental and physical health in this kind of competitive environment, and this in this type of day and age where we are fighting with COVID and monkeypox and whatnot.
Yeah, so undoubtedly there is a lot happening around, but my message to all the young adults, teenagers, and everybody is just, it starts with self belief. I would say believe in yourself.
Mm,
And self belief is not about being egoistic. Uh, Muhammad Ali, for example, he said that I knew I was the greatest. I called
mm,
myself I'm a greatest even before I knew I was.
mm.
And that is the power of self belief. So
Self
I would
talk.
say
Mm,
self talk and self belief, and then comes another thing, is about praising,
right.
because a lot of us are struggling with self esteem and confidence issues,
Hmm.
and there's absolutely nothing that will boost self esteem but praise. And when we're talking about praise, Sandeep, it's not about praise from your parents or praise from your colleagues or teachers or managers. We're not talking about
Mm,
praise from people around. We're talking about self praise,
right.
because when it is coming from you, your mind understand that there is no agenda, and
Mm,
it takes it in, as we've just seen that. And I will reiterate that rule of the mind, because it's very important that your mind doesn't care what you tell it is true or false, right or wrong, healthy or unhealthy. It just takes it in. So I would ask my audience, all the listeners here, to take time to praise yourself, take time to say good things to yourself. It could be things, very simple things, that I'm a kind person, I'm beautiful, I'm a genius, I'm
mm,
intelligent, I'm
mm,
smart. And this might sound like a funny, crazy, egoistic
mm.
idea, but it's not.
Weird. Mm,
Yeah, it might sound weird. The reason it sounds
mm,
weird is because we are not used to it.
mm,
And when you start praising yourself, your mind will take it in, and you will see the magic happening. So I would say that when you're brushing your teeth, or you're in the shower, or you're driving to work, just take time to say good
mm.
things to yourself.
Absolutely. And what are your goals? What kind of goals you have as right now with Mind Rewired, and where you want to see yourself down the line?
Uh, so Sandeep, okay, so for now, my goals are I'm just trying to help as many people as I can and change as many lives I can. And
Hmm.
I find this very fulfilling and purposeful. So for my life today has a lot of purpose and there's a lot of fulfillment with what I do. So I just
Mm.
want to impact more lives and help more people transform their
Gr-
lives because the mind rewired is definitely using the power of your own mind, so you don't have to go anywhere
mm,
else to seek that help. It's all
mm,
here, and when you know how to make this work for you and make it in, when you know how it works, you can make it work in your favor. And I want to empower people to know and how their mind works and gain all
mm.
that freedom that they need to live an extraordinary life.
How important is morning rituals for you, Neha? Do you follow any morning rituals, or are you an early person? And are you into
uh,
meditation or anything like that, which helps you going every day?
Yeah, so there are different rituals that I follow. I don't particularly have a morning ritual. I'm still trying to have one. So I am
Mm.
on that journey of having one. I'm not a morning person. I go to
Okay.
bed late, I wake up late. But when you spoke about meditations, there are different meditations that I came across through Mind Valley. And I also use my own rapid transformational recordings for myself.
Mm. Mm.
But one myth about meditation is that you have to clear your thought, and your mind has to be very calm, and you have to be sitting in a certain position to
Mm.
meditate, which is not true. And that is what I learned through Mind Valley, because there are a lot of meditations. I love the Six Phase meditation that is by the owner of Mind Valley, by Vishen, and that's beautiful. And you can do it at any point of the day. You don't really have to do it the moment you get up. You can do it in the
Okay.
afternoon. You can do it in the evening. So if people out there want to meditate and they want to start somewhere, there is no right and wrong thing here. It's about what works for you. For somebody, it could be meditating right before sleeping, and for somebody, it could be meditating right once you wake up. So, whatever suits your routine and whatever works best for you, because there is no right and wrong way of doing it.
Absolutely, Neha. Amazingly well said. And with this note, I would like to thank once again Neha for joining the podcast all the way from Abu Dhabi and taking time out for this session. It was quite a long session for you. I know you are very busy. Any message you want to share through this platform to the audience who are watching or will be watching across the globe?
Thank you so much, Sandeep, first of all, for having me here. And I was excited, and I'm happy to be here to be able to share what I know. And I would say to all the listeners watching this is to change your self talk, praise yourself a little more, be kind to yourself, because you have the power to choose. And it starts with changing your language.
Great. So, on that note, we'll end this podcast, episode number 11. And I wish you, Neha, all the best with your journey, with your company, which is known as the Mind Rewired. You are doing an amazing, amazing work. And I believe many women who are watching or will be watching or have been your students, they take a lot of inspiration from your journey and work. I myself took a lot of inspiration while interacting with you and watching your work. So,
Thank you so much,
on
Sandeep.
this
Means
note,
a lot. Thanks a lot, and I'm so glad to be here. And you're doing an amazing job as well. So having all these people being able to share their journey through your platform is also incredible, because that is how the message reaches to people across the country and wherever they are watching from. So
absolutely. Okay, Neha, all the best to you and take care.
thank you so much, Sandeep. Thank you. Have a wonderful day
Bye
ahead.
bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.
Thanks.
Same to you.
Thanks.
Bye bye.